before we open to the international tourists, we have started off with our bubble for Langkawi as our first bubble for domestic tourism first. We want to see how the performance in that island. You see, we have plans for international tourists to be open, tourism to be open by next month actually. But before that, we want to see the records of what we have in Langkawi. Why Langkawi? Maybe you will be wondering why we choose Langkawi first for domestic and then for our international tourism. Because Langkawi, as when we have started announcing, the Prime Minister, Honorable Prime Minister Dr. Sri Ismail Sabri announced the opening of Langkawi on the 11th of October. We started with our SOPs, trying, actually it's all trial and error, and want to see how many people would be interested in the activities, tourism activities. Well, we were very happy to see the record, and as of to date, we have about 128. This record is at 16th of October, 128,452 domestic tourists into Langkawi, coming either via air or by ferry. So this will be an indication on how many people, especially tourists from the foreign countries who want to come. Anyway, we had I had my engagement with our overseas directors, trying to get indication of how many people want to come, what sort of expectations would they have. So since they are already in the other countries, they want to see what would be the expectations. So we try to use that as our guideline. This will be an indication of how we're going to see the levels of the interest of the people, especially foreign tourists.
What about Singapore? What is the status in terms of a bubble arrangement with Singapore?
Actually, I'm about to meet up with Singapore next week, inshallah. We are open with Singapore, as long as Singapore is open to us as well. But that will be next week. Then only we know how Singapore rates us, the Malaysian tourists. But we are opening to Singapore very soon. So actually, a lot of Singaporeans, they want to come because they have neighbors, a lot of relatives, and the islands.
Before the end of this year, ma'am, some arrangement will be worked out with Singapore before the end of 2021.
It should be before that. I would love to say that, very optimistic, that it should be by November.
Okay.
Yeah, November is my targeted date. One of the dates in November, I suppose. Yeah. So let us pray hard that this will be the way forward for us between Singapore and Malaysia.